Hey everyone, it's Zack Beck.
And how's it going, guys? I'm Doug.
We've been best friends for 24 years and we're here today to talk about personal finance, cryptocurrency,
And politics.
So let's take our time, dive into the details, and jump into it right now.
Let's go.
Before we jump into that, Doug, what are some things that you and I have done together over the course of our lives?
Oh man, tremendous things from being on the same baseball team actually when we were younger, growing up, and eventually becoming roommates.
Yeah.
And just coming to your wedding, which was an awesome thing.
Yeah, that was right.
And just kind of being in each other's lives and just kind of, being a support system for each other. So those are the best kind of friendships.
Yeah.
So, man, it's been a great ride.
Yeah, it's been a great ride. Loved it so much. We spent a lot of time doing ministry together with a youth group. I remember that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, I still keep in touch with a lot of those students. If any of those are watching, hello. And we're just stoked to be here. So a little bit of that background. Now I just want to talk a little about some personal finance stuff because I think that's fun. But even before that, a couple of things that you guys know I've done, been the city clerk. I've worked in ministry, done other things along those lines. But Doug has a really interesting background with his work. He actually used to be a professional video game player. So want to talk a little bit about that? Yeah.
So I started playing Halo professionally when I was 14 years old. Traveled around the world playing video games at many different tournaments, playing Halo, if anybody knows what that is. It's a pretty old game, but hopefully the new one that's coming out is great on Xbox.
Cool.
Also played a little bit of StarCraft, and then I managed for a team called Cloud9 for a while, which is one of the best esports organizations in the world right now.
Right.
So, definitely a great time in my life. Got to travel and play video games, so what's better than that, right?
Can't ask for much better than that. I remember Doug, when we were roommates, was during his gaming career, and I remember, door would be shut, and I just hear all these like, hey, making all this noise about these great things, and die here, go there, and I just thought, wow, that's really incredible. He's getting paid to do that right now. That's awesome. So he knows what's up. But Doug is the best video game player I've ever met, and also just one of the greatest guys I've ever met. So I'm just so stoked to have you on the channel, man.
Yeah, definitely great to be here. Definitely great to happy to talk to you guys about a number of things today with the finances, with cryptocurrency, and also with politics, but mainly hopefully setting you guys up for success so that you are knowledgeable before you take that leap.
Yeah, totally. It's a good way to go. So on that note, why don't we talk a little about personal finance and kind of investing and how you like to do that. I often talk about on the channel the importance of like investing in index funds and, saving your money, making sure you live below your means. And you remember even when we were roommates, just working super hard, setting money aside, like that was kind of our approach. So I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on how you like to structure your personal finances, but also when you think about investing in the stock market, are you maybe more interested in like individual stocks? Or do you like doing index funds or a combination of both? Or just love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, I think that when you are taking control of your finances, you want to make sure that you have a number of bank accounts. And I don't mean like 10 or 15, just 3 solid bank accounts. Mm-hmm. So you want one for your fund money, you want one for your bills, and then you want one for emergencies, which is normally your savings account.
Yeah.
So I always try to tell people when they want to take control of their finances is they have to have a level of discipline. Because if you don't have that level of discipline, you're ultimately going to stress yourself out.
Totally.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's your money. You should enjoy it.
Yeah.
The right way.
That's a good way of saying it.
So a lot of people ask me when I get into the stock market is what's the best thing to look out for?
Yeah.
My personal opinion is you want to look out for things that really catch your eye that you are comfortable with, because a lot of people will say that the stock market is the biggest casino in the world.
Yep.
So you wouldn't go to a casino without, some people go without a plan, but for the most part, you know what game you're going to play, you know what slot machine is your favorite.
Yep.
Kind of want to take the same approach with stocks. You want to know what stock you want, you want to research it, you want to know what's going on in the news so that when you decide to put in that buy or that sell, you're completely confident. And that's the biggest thing, because if you're not confident, you're not gonna be successful with stocks. What I also recommend people do is open a demo account, because a lot of people will just take their money and jump right in. Whereas you can get a free demo account with any financial stock market app or anything like that. You can just play around with it, feel comfortable with it, so that if you do fail or if you don't succeed in whatever stock you want, you have the ability to start over. That's extremely important because it creates discipline. And if you don't have discipline, you're not going to do well with stocks.
That's a good point. I like that. Do you like doing any sort of automation with your investing? One of the things I like to do is like I'll automatically have money come out of my paycheck. It goes into an investment account. Then it automatically goes to my savings account. That goes into a Roth IRA. And I like kind of structuring that way because I feel as though because of the emotional nature of investing, if I see like stock prices going up and down, I'm less inclined to want to invest because I'm fearful that it might, dip, or I think that I got in too late. Whereas if I just am automatically investing, I just don't have to think about it and I'm less likely to not invest. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I do to a point because, I mean, if you're kind of doing that, it's the same thing as almost having a 401k.
Yeah.
Because pretty much what a 401k is you're trusting somebody to take that and invest that for you so that you can have a retirement fund.
Yeah.
So sometimes what I'll do out of my own personal check is that I will take the 20% out of it that I would have either put in savings or that I might have put aside for a 401k, and I'll just let that, and I know myself that this is going to be invested.
Yeah.
And so I'll have it go directly into my WeBull account or a separate checking account that I use for my trading.
Nice.
And then I know that no matter what, that's going to stocks because that's what it would have done if I would have had my 401k.
Right on. That's really good. I like it. So good thoughts from Doug here on investing, everybody. I think it aligns kind of what we talk about all the time on this channel. So stoked to hear that, man. We're going to pivot to some other topics now. All right, cool guys. So we're going to talk a little bit now about cryptocurrency because that has been in the news a lot lately. Whether you're seeing what's been going on with Bitcoin over the last year, Ethereum going even up with over $3,000, and now Dogecoin has been all over the map. So I, Doug, would just love to get your thoughts on cryptocurrency as a whole and maybe hear a little about those kind of three that we just talked about. So what do you think?
Yeah, so cryptocurrency is revolutionary. It's something that we never thought would happen. A couple years ago when Bitcoin first kind of was becoming popular, nobody ever thought it would be as popular or even as valuable as it is. And even with Doge, it started off as a meme stock. It started off as a stock for people who could not afford Bitcoin. Yeah. So for it to be getting the traction that it's getting now, do I think it will hit the same levels as Bitcoin? Not now, only simply because there are too many coins and so they're not as valuable. Whereas Bitcoin, the only really real way you could get them was to mine them.
Yeah.
So you had to have these big machines that would just sit there all day and just look for Bitcoins, and people aren't doing that with Doge. So it's a little bit different. Ethereum is kind of, they're not new on the market, but they're kind of just now finding their footing. So it's going to be a little bit before we see them hit any level that Dogecoin is at right now. Or not Dogecoin, sorry.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is at right now. Any level, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask me, is Dogecoin worth the hype? Is it going to be huge? Is
it's going to the moon. Yeah.
Is it going to go to the moon? Like, was Wall Street bets correct? And things like that.
Yeah.
And it definitely has potential. A lot of experts will say no because, again, there's too many coins out there and it's really easy to find. But at the same time, what you have to think about is that cryptocurrency is a fast-paced market. It is not something where you can kind of sit on it like you would stocks. That people are getting in and getting out, which is also called scalp trading, or a faster form of day trading.
Yeah.
So the thing about the cryptocurrency market as well is it's 7 days a week, not 5.
Yeah.
So
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah.
So whether you're on trading on the Pacific market or the European market, either way you are able to trade it. But a lot of people that are on the U.S. market don't know that. Or they will only start to trade on Sundays, so from Sunday to Friday.
Okay.
So it really just kind of depends on what the comfort level is. I would always recommend, if you're going to get into cryptocurrency, is do your research.
Yeah, definitely do your research.
Do your research.
Yeah.
Make sure you are being even if it's whether it's YouTube University or crypto.com or just kind of reading a whole bunch of news articles on exactly what's going on before you dive in. That's the greatest advice I can give. And demo accounts. Demo accounts
there you go.
is the greatest advice I can give, so you can actually see how it moves, because crypto is a lot less forgiving than stocks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because it can go up one day, down the next day. I mean, we just saw, for example, like with Dogecoin, everyone was kind of gearing up for Elon Musk to talk about it on Saturday Night Live, and there was all this anticipation and hype that as soon as he says it, it's going to go up to $1. And guess what? The opposite happened. He spoke about it on Saturday Night Live, and it dropped like 30%. So, it just shows kind of that volatility. Do you see, and this is actually interesting because of your background as a video gamer, do you see any correlation between what we're seeing happening with Dogecoin right now and what we previously saw happen with GameStop? I know there's they're not crypto, that's a stock versus cryptocurrency, but this whole like, Wall Street bets where everyone kind of gets excited about something, we talk about it, it gets all this media attention, the price goes up, and then everyone forgets about it, and then the price goes down. Do you see any of that kind of correlation with Doge?
A little bit, because a lot of people didn't even know what Doge was until Wall Street bets came into the picture.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people that spend a lot of time on the internet, and they kind of feed off of the hype a little bit.
Yeah.
So with GameStop, what we saw a Reddit group who kind of found a loophole in the stock market and took advantage of it, where with Doge, right now there is no loophole. So you have a bunch of people that are buying in, which makes it ultimately go up because there's less shares, the more people buy. And then when it hits a certain spot, or if they see someone like a celebrity or Wall Street bets say, we're going to hit this wall, then they get scared and they sell, and then ultimately that drops it. So last night with Elon Musk on SNL, what I think happened is there was an expectancy for him to say or do a certain amount of things. It didn't happen. People got spooked and sold, so the value of it dropped tremendously. But now that we have kind of hit a dip, you will see a whole bunch of people that didn't get a chance to get in on it now get in on it, and we'll probably see it rise in a couple of days.
That's a good call. That makes a lot of sense. So given that we see these kind of patterns repeating themselves, whether it's like with GameStop, with Dogecoin, even like a couple weeks back with Coinbase, when everyone was like wanting the IPO to go and they thought, oh, it's going to go really high. How do you go about like making your investments when you're putting your money on the table? What are some of like the key things you're looking at, when it comes to crypto, but even back before, like we talked about with investing into stocks, what are the like key indicators that you're looking for that makes you feel comfortable to say, cool, I'm going to put my hard-earned money and invest in that? What are some things you think about?
Number one is this going to be worth my time? Because cryptocurrency, you have to look at the charts. You don't really have, although there's a lot of media attention on cryptocurrency right now, you don't have the same charts as you do with the stock market. So you have to learn how to read your charts. And you can do that on any of the platforms that you choose to trade on, whether it's Gemini, Kraken, WeBull now, Robinhood for some people who still use that. So you have to know how to read your charts. The second thing that I always look at is, am I going to be able to make money off this in the long run, meaning for the next day to 7 days, or can I make money off this in the next hour while scalp trading it? So that's something that I look at as well. As I kind of treat it as treat cryptocurrency in a form kind of like how you would treat if you were trading gold. Because it loses or gains value in the minute. In the moment.
So it's almost like pure speculation. Like everyone's just kind of like thinking the value is, because in effect, cryptocurrency, there's certain things you can do like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some companies are saying you can like buy a game to the Dallas Mavericks with Doge, but like that's all marketing stuff. So you're really just kind of speculating. Like we don't go out and use gold to buy anything right now, whereas you can do that with a dollar. With crypto, you kind of like we're just speculating. Like we think the value is going up, so that's what you invest. So that's what makes it hard. I've heard the saying before, like day trading, you talk scalp trading, is almost the equivalent of trying to catch a falling knife. It's like you're potentially gonna get hurt, but you could potentially get it. So it's tough.
And we might get to the point where we actually see cryptocurrency being used more to purchase things. Like there's Bitcoin ATMs now. So who knows what's going on down the road. But the cryptocurrencies outside of Bitcoin do not have that structure. So it's a little bit like, I would say, I would like to call it kind of like a safe roulette table if you've done your research. So if you're going to jump into Doge, my greatest advice would be to make sure that you are comfortable with losing money. And it's very hard for people to hear that when they think about stocks and crypto, because a lot of people are like, it's to be safe. The stock market is not safe.
No, it's not. It's not.
So
if you don't play it right,
it's definitely not safe. And so you have to be comfortable with losing whatever amount of money you put in with the hopes that it's going to jump and bring you profit. That's what I think about as well before I jump in.
That's a good point.
Am I comfortable with losing that?
That's a really good point. And I think that highlights to me, like, I don't know if you saw the story about, there's this Dogecoin millionaire, the guy who like made $1 million. He's in MSNBC, CNN, all these kind of things are covering stories about him. But he invested about $180,000 into this Dogecoin meme stock. It turned into a couple $1 million. He still hasn't sold as of today when we're recording this video, which is crazy because the value has actually gone down significantly. I saw a video recently with Andre Jick and Graham Stephan. They were interviewing him like pressuring him like he should sell because it would help him out in his life, but he decided not to. So my thinking on this too is like when we read a headline like Dogecoin Millionaire, people see that and they're like, oh, that's like I could do that. It's like a penny stock. I can just go put a couple $1,000s in, and next thing I'm gonna become a millionaire. And I just want to caution you guys is that there's a possibility that could happen, but like Doug was saying, it's like almost like a safe form of gambling that you're doing, and be prepared to lose all your money. And if that's your only approach towards investing, I would say you want to be a bit more diversified than that. I don't know if you agree, but like if you're going to go in crypto, I think before you go that route, you probably should at least have like your foundation in place of stronger investments that are long term and saving money and not having any debt, and then going into crypto. But I don't know what you think about
Correct.
that.
Well, we live in a time where instant gratification is huge. You know, with Uber, DoorDash, where people want their things now. Yeah. You cannot go into the stock market or the crypto market with that mentality. You cannot. Yeah. You have to have you kind of have to have a losing winning mentality. Yeah. So I totally agree. I totally think that as long as you are responsible in your finances, and as long as you put the money aside that you're comfortable with putting aside, the same way you would be comfortable if you went to a casino. If you go to Vegas, you're like, I'm only spending $1,000. Yeah. You have to have the same mentality.
That's a good point.
And if you do that, you will be fine. Nice. If you're feeling like you want to take some risks, demo account to see if it's even worth it.
Got it. There you go. See that demo account 3 times today. So that's something to be aware of. Very cool. Right on, brother. So we'll shift to politics next. Oftentimes you hear on the channel, we talk a little bit about politics, and when we enter into the realm of politics, I know it's a very divisive issue. We can have strong feelings from a Republican standpoint, a Democratic standpoint, an independent standpoint, and the intention I have with this channel is to do everything I can, just make sure you're well informed and make sure that we provide things that are factual and really unbiased so you can make wise formed decisions for your financial future. But oftentimes I think it's important for us to understand the reality of the situation and where things stand politically. And I know the last year or two have been really rough from a political standpoint, and I thought it'd be great to have Doug's thoughts on this because he has a lot of experience. He's been through the ring when I was running for office. He was there supporting me on the campaign trail. He has a lot of great thoughts and insights on his own, but I just want to talk, maybe we can kind of talk a little about some of the partisanship and like the divisiveness of politics, because I know on social media, just on TV, on the news, it's just like it seems as though America is like at each other's throats, and yet we still just all get along like in regular society. So it's strange to kind of see this dynamic. So I don't know what your thoughts are, like where we stand politically as a country, where you see things going, and just what your thoughts are.
I think there's a lot of things that nowadays play into the divisiveness on what's going on. I think a lot of people are kind of gearing towards their own mentality. So if they don't like something that they hear, or they don't agree with something, they can, like, social media is just so huge where you can go and find and listen to what you want to listen to. Totally. Even if it's not even the voice of reason, no matter if you're a Republican or Democrat, you can go and find something that aligns with your ideology. And I think that's something that has been bad and both good, but back then we didn't have that. So, if somebody had an opinion and you didn't agree with it, you just didn't agree with it. Yeah. Instead of trying to go and find things so that you can combat somebody else's line of thinking. And I think that's kind of causes the tension, because everybody wants to be right. Yep. Nobody wants to be wrong. Yeah. And in this culture, because we have cancel culture, we have things like that. If you're wrong, you potentially have the you can just be canceled. Yeah, canceled, lose your job, have negative. Yes, totally. And so I think people are scared of that. So a lot of people want to be right and they don't want to be wrong because they don't have to deal with that. Yeah. And I think that as long as social media grows and as long as that mentality grows, we'll continue to be at each other's throats. But I see that in the worst of times, America comes together. Yeah. It's true. In the best of times, not so much. Yeah, kind of go apart, right? Yeah. So it kind of just depends on the state of the country and the temperature of the country. With right now, with everything going on with COVID and people losing loved ones and things like that, there's a lot more compassion than there is negativity. But there's still negativity. Yeah. But as long as we continue to move through this pandemic together, I think we'll start to see some of the partisan go away. So that's a good point. My opinion.
I like the part you just said, kind of about like having there be almost like an echo chamber. And, if you're just hearing the information from people that you agree with, I think that sets us all up to kind of think that we are getting that confirmation bias, because we all want to be right. So when we hear people who might differ from us or have a different opinion, or who might have a better explanation, we just don't want to hear it because they actually might be right, we might be wrong. I think we want to cancel them, or we want to get rid of that voice in our head because we just don't want to feel wrong. So we just kind of follow the people that talk like us, or we listen on radio, or listen to the news channel, or just surround ourselves with people, or move to states that are only politically aligned with us. And I think that sets us up in such a bad way, because the best way I found for growth in my life personally is when I've had discussion and dialogue with people that I disagree with, because it challenges my own beliefs internally, whether that's spiritual, whether it's relational, whether it's political, and it helps me understand where the people are coming from. Because I might have a strong disagreement with someone politically, but it has to do with their upbringing, their surrounding, their experiences that could be completely different to my own. And I mean, from that standpoint alone, I mean, you and I growing up probably had very different experiences, significantly different experiences, and we have similar views politically, but that just kind of came about naturally. But it's also important to like have that understanding where you can put yourself in someone else's shoe to try and have more empathy and compassion for them. And also, hopefully, they're doing the same for yourself, so that way you can grow and hopefully learn a little more. So I don't know, what are some of your thoughts of like how we can better engage politically when it comes to just only hearing the voices that we want to hear, or only hearing stories that we want to read? What do you think?
I think the best way is to just understand that everybody, just like yourself, has the right to their own opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what it is an opinion.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you do have a voice, but that doesn't mean that your voices speak louder than the next person's, whether you align politically or not.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that like if you were at a bagel shop, you wouldn't say, I'm going to get this bagel, and this bagel is better than your bagel, so you're not allowed to buy it.
Yeah.
That's a good you wouldn't say that, so it's kind of the same thing politically. And that's kind of what politics to me has always kind of seemed like, is you're voting for the person that aligns with your beliefs. Yeah. That's who you want in office, so that they can echo what you believe. Yeah. But if that person does not win, then out of respect, you gotta just
be okay with it.
Gotta be okay with it.
Yeah, right. Elections have consequences, as we all know.
Exactly. So, and it would be the same thing where, if you are in customer service and, you get a customer service call, and that person is angry because a certain product didn't work, but that the product is working. It's just maybe it wasn't for them. Yeah. But that's not going to stop you from being human. Yeah. And being nice to that person.
That's right. That's a really good, I like that you said kind of just having that understanding, like it might not be working for them. Like right now, the new administration might not be working for some people. The previous administration didn't work for some people, but like just being like, okay, like how can you have compassion, empathy? And I think that says a lot. Like I mentioned before, we worked in ministry together, as a youth group. We, helped mentor and train students and, really point them in a positive direction in their lives. And I think that is a very important element, irrespective of your own personal faith and our faith standpoint. It's just like, it's good to be loving and compassionate and caring and like see the humanity of other people. Because when you're tweeting at someone, or you're sending a message on Facebook, or if you're in the YouTube comment section or something, it's real easy to just be like nasty, or like, hey, all this negativity towards another person. It's very different if you're sitting face to face, eye to eye, and you're like, oh, that's another human being, and they just have different experiences. And just because things are different for them and they are not liking it, doesn't mean that I should just be gloating in their face or being dismissive of that. And I think that's important for all of us to hear, and especially in light of what's been going on over the last couple of years. I mean, I'll jump into it a little bit, but I mean, like what's been going on, with issues that we saw surrounding like race issues here in the United States. I mean, you and I actually don't talk that much about that very often, but I think, there's this element of like, oh, well, we as a country just, need to only let people just deal with their own issues. It's like, no, like all issues that affect everyone affect all of us. So we need to be like more understanding. And I think there's a lack of understanding out there. I don't know what your thoughts are.
What I think America is really great at is helping others before they help themselves. Yeah. So if something's going on in the world where somebody doesn't have enough food, or somebody doesn't have enough water, or they don't have enough medicine, or they don't have enough resources, or they're being bullied by another country, we're really good at getting involved. Yeah. But something we're not really good at is getting involved here. Yeah. And that's something that I think that we struggle with. And racism is always a sensitive topic with anybody, whether black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever the case may be. Yeah, especially with all the Asian hate crimes going on. I think it's something that a lot of people are scared to talk about simply because, and it kind of plays into the politics a little bit. Yeah. They don't want to have their opinion be overrun. Yeah. So while there's some people that may think that there is no racism, and then there's another side that's like there's clearly racism, and both sides are screaming because they want to be heard over each other instead of just coming to the middle and talking about it. But if you do that, there's discomfort, and nobody in America likes to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, we all like to be comfortable.
So that's kind of where we shoot ourselves in the foot there.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So I think the easiest way to have these kind of conversations, or to, you know, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, or you think, you know, this side should stop talking more than this side should stop talking. Yeah. You, at the same time, everybody wants to have their opinion heard. That's what it all comes down to. Yeah. As, you know, you have people that, especially with everything that's going on right now with the police brutality stuff, you have people that want to be heard. And if they're not going to be heard, they're going to scream until you hear them. Yeah. We saw something similar, and this might be a sensitive subject. So again, I say, whatever you believe in politically, that is your choice. We saw the same thing with the insurrection. Yeah. People were mad. Yep. Nobody was hearing them. And so they screamed. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what happened. Yeah. So then you get to the point where if those same people on either side were put into the situation that we have now, would they listen? Yeah. That's a good. I like that. It's once again like trying to walk in someone else's shoes and trying to understand where they're coming from. Because, exactly. Because we see the media and stuff that when the insurrection was happening, we saw the media say like, or those people that were there like, I didn't do it. Why isn't anybody listening to me? Like, I wasn't there for that. But I, again, just my opinion, with those same people that are screaming to be heard, that's not what they thought when they went there. Yeah. Be willing to listen to somebody like, you know, that like George Floyd's mom or something. Yeah. When they say, my son didn't do anything.
Nah, that's a great point. That's a good point. I think it's important. Like, and that's why I'm so grateful for you bringing that up, because I think one of the things oftentimes is like we talked about earlier, we like to be kind of in our own echo comfortable chamber where we're just hearing things that confirm our personal beliefs. We just hear things that are helping us to make our own world a little bit easier to understand. And once we start venturing outside of that and try to understand where other people are coming from, that's when we can grow, but also we can have more understanding and have dialogue. And I think that's actually what's critical for our country, is that we want to have more dialogue like this. We want to make sure that we're engaging other people where they're at, because especially if they're just hearing this constant bombardment of what they only believe, then it really sets themselves up in a negative direction. And also, it doesn't allow us to grow as a country and address the problems directly, systematically, because there are some things that need to be changed. So, yeah, I appreciate sharing that, man.
Yeah, you know, I always try to look at both sides of the fence, and, you know, there's some things that I agree with in terms of, like, the BLM movement or, you know, systemic racism in our country. But then there's a lot of stuff that I don't agree with, and you don't hear that a lot. Yeah. You don't hear, you know, somebody of color or Hispanic or Asian or whatever say, you know, there's some things that they do in that movement that are not right. Yeah. And, you know, you catch a lot of backlash for that because it's like, well, you know, you're supposed to just one track thought. And as humans, nobody has one track thoughts. Exactly. That's so good. It's actually impossible as a human being to have a one track thought.
So much nuance.
Because if you did, I mean, if like one track mind, then there would be so many opportunities and so many things that you would miss out on in life that nobody's willing to do. So it should be the same thing with everything. Yeah. But again, and this is, you know, mind blown, maybe not. Yeah. That's what America's about.
Yeah. It's a good point. No, it's true. Yeah.
It's an opinion.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
So somebody may not agree with me, but it's still my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And you're entitled to it.
Exactly.
Freedom of speech.
So somebody might have the complete opposite of what I just said. Yeah. But because we're all human and we're all Americans and all in this together, guess what? I respect it.
That's really cool.
Not gonna judge you for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. I like that, man. And that was really, really well said. And I think it's so good, just like you're getting at the point of, us being able to just be able to share our opinion, also not to get lumped in. I think this is something we do oftentimes, like we lump people into categories, like all people like this or like that, or all if you're a Republican, you only think this way. If you're a Democrat, you only think this way. If you're a certain ethnicity, you only think this way. It's like, no way. Like where there's so much nuance, we're all human beings. And I think the human element is what's critical. And I mean, not to get too religious or anything like that, but I personally like God's created all of us for unique purposes in our lives, and we really want to fulfill that, and that's irrespective of those other outlying factors. That's more internal. So just kind of the human side of things is really an important thing.
Yeah, we're a big melting pot.
Yeah.
And so I think that if the sooner that we all realize that we are all in this together, we're a big melting pot. That's what makes America great.
Yeah.
Is that there's so many different races, different types of cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
That it is really just so much knowledge that we're missing out on, so much learning that we're missing out on with each other, just for the simple fact that we're scared to be wrong. And we can't, as an adult, you can't be scared to be wrong. When you're a parent, if you, it's your first time, if you don't know how to change a diaper like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't, what would happen if you were changing a diaper for the first time and, you don't do the thing and the kid gets you, you know what I'm saying? And somebody said, you're a bad parent because of that.
Yeah.
You would feel terrible. It's your first time.
Totally.
You're learning.
Yeah.
You're always learning. Humans are always learning.
Yeah.
We're like a big, computer.
Yeah.
We're always downloading information.
Yeah.
We're always uploading information. Our brain is always learning.
Yeah.
So it should be the same way with politics.
Yeah.
It should be the same way with current events. Even if you don't agree, you're learning.
Yeah. Well said. I can't say any better than that. So awesome. That's good. With all that being said, I'd like to thank Doug for being here.
Oh man, great to have me. I really appreciated it, man. It's always great talking to you. If you guys don't mind, go ahead and tap that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the bell for the notifications so you can see when this guy is here to give more sound advice on how, balance and moderation.
Balance and moderation. We've been talking about it since we were
Forever.
kids, right? Yeah. It's all about that BAM. Right on, Doug. Thanks so much for being here. We'll definitely have you back, brother, and so grateful. So all that being said, guys, thanks for being here. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.